Uh, Talk about the improvement on team defense, and you got St. Joe's coming up. A couple of good guards there. You know, how do you look at them?
Well, first with us, we are getting better defensively, and there's some things that we still need to dramatically improve on if we want to take another step. I think we've taken a couple steps in our overall, defensive schemes and understandings, but we got a long way to go in that. Our transition defense at times needs to be better. A lot of times that's predicated on maybe quick shots or turnovers. But we are improving defensively. Our guys are starting to take some pride in that. But we got that's a long journey to become a great defensive team. The one thing that has helped us is we've rebounded well. So even if we force a shot or don't do a great job defensively, we are usually limiting the other team to only one shot. With St. Joe's, you're taking a big step up now in terms of who you're playing. This team is really good. They took some beatings last year playing those 4 freshmen, but those guys are all sophomores now who've played a lot of minutes. In Galloway, you have a guy that can turn, take over a game, and obviously in Tay Jones as well at the guard spots. They're really good defensively. They went down to Western Kentucky and held them to 27% from the field, so they can defend, and they can make some mistakes defensively with Aiken inside blocking shots. I think he was credited with 5 blocks that game, but when I watched the film, it was more like 8 or 9. So, you're talking about a guy who was the national coach of the year. Guy that program has great pride. I know that program firsthand, and this is a team that, before it's all said and done, is going to really have a great year and will challenge in the A-10.
Is this where you kind of will find out a little bit about the mental makeup of your team, playing a bunch of games in a short span of time against good opponents and being on the road?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons you play in these tournaments. The competition is the first we're going to play. A lot of these teams are on the cusp of kind of turning the corner as a program. You look at Tulsa, you look at Northwestern, you look at Seton Hall. St. Joe's is kind of trying to reemerge, and so you just go down that list, and you have teams that are primed to have great years. That's number one. And second thing is with the turnaround time, there's not always a lot of time for a lot of fluff. It's who you are and what you do, and that's going to help you win those games. And we're going to have to see where we're at.
How do you add Glenn back into the picture when you get back to the second game? How does he fit into what you're doing?
Well, I mean, just go in there and play. He's been practicing with the team and so forth. It's a situation. Obviously, he'll come off the bench and hopefully give us a big spark. Hopefully he's being able to observe and learn some things, and hopefully he'll be ready to go that second game.
In the second game, the minutes for Julian and Nate were cut back. Was that a result of how Cam and Daniel were playing, or just the action down?
I think both those guys played exceptional games. That's number one. And number two, they played a very small lineup, and they were intent on kind of holding the ball into the end of clock situations and spread you out and drive you. And we felt that in terms of being able to keep the ball in front and being in position to help and guarding basically 5 perimeter guys, that Daniel and Cam gave us our best shot. That's awful hard to ask of a freshman in terms of Julian in that type of situation. In addition to that, it's very difficult to ask Nate to go out 20 feet and defend that way. They don't play a traditional style, so it puts you in a situation. And we were still able to take advantage of our size on the offensive end.
Can you talk about Daniel's passing a little bit? He had quite a few.
Well, I've said since I got here, I think that's one aspect of the game that he's very good at that maybe has gone unnoticed. He's a very, almost, at times I have to get on him because it's almost to a point of being too unselfish. But he's a very good passer. Throws really good passes to guys for shots. There's some guys can make a pass, but we talk about being on time and on target. and he does a very good job of that.
Was that defense and the overall game plan from Delaware State, was that a result of Foreman getting more minutes also in the game?
Well, yeah, because we played him at the foursome, and well, if you threw a number out, that would be the number that you would throw out. But that was a little bit, and we still were able to have enough size in there to do a great job on the glass, and do a great job, in terms of scoring around the basket. We have to have some versatility in our lineup, and in some of these games are harder to play, like last night, because of who you're playing and how they play. What you have to be able to do is still be able to defend, but then take advantage of whatever advantage you have on offense.
What will a guy like Galloway tell you about your team and how you try to defend?
Well, I mean, I don't think you just separate him. I think you need to put Tay Jones in there as well. Because we had a hard time over the last 3 years guarding Tay Jones. But those guys are both capable of dominating the game and taking over a game, especially in stretches. And so that's always good to have, because defenses and teams are getting better defensively, and so now when you got guys that can just get shots, that makes a big difference. But we need some guys to step up. But at the same time, we cannot defend one-on-one. Our team defense, our guys, the other 4 guys being in the correct position when the ball is caught, you have to be there against this team, or they're going to be able to, dribble, drive you, create shots, or score on that drive.
I imagine at this point of the season, it's helpful to play a team like this because they'll tell you more about where you're weak and where you need to get better.
Yeah, what it does is it kind of, I think we have a pretty good idea kind of that right now, but what it will do is expose those.
Right.
And hopefully we'll respond well to when that happens. At the same time, it's these are games that are big for you in terms of your confidence and building some momentum as well, if you can be successful in them.
With Glenn, are you seeing the sort of, response to the suspension that you were?
Yeah. I think he's been very, good on the bench, good in practice, and it's a hard time because you don't get to full out practice as much. You got a couple guys banged up. Pierre's still a little banged up. Nick was banged up. We didn't even know if he'd play on Friday. So you have to be careful with what you're doing on a daily basis as well. And so he's done a good job in terms of getting extra stuff in, because maybe because of the minutes the guys logged his first 2 games, and the game after game after game, the practices haven't been as long, and haven't been, the periods of intensity have been shorter. So he needs a good couple days to get ready to be able to play on Friday well.
Will you be everyone available on Friday?
Say that again.
Will you have everyone available to play?
On Thursday?
I'm sorry.
Well, Glenn won't, but
right.
As of right now, everybody's available. Yeah. I mean, those guys are a little banged up a little bit. I mean, Pierre's still got some back issues, and Nick's played, but he's got this strain in his calf. But yeah, I mean, all those guys will be ready to go.
What has Pierre brought to the team in the short time that he's, the 2 games that he's played?
Well, I do think he's he's given us quality minutes when he's been at the point, and he's allowed us the opportunity to play both him and Mufon together, especially with the situation with our thinness on the backcourt right now in terms of on the perimeter. So we've been able to play those 2 guys together, especially against some of the zone and the trapping, and done a pretty good job of handling that. Plus, it takes a little pressure off of Mufon in terms of always having the ball in his hands. You got to remember, Brandon is only a sophomore. Jason's only a sophomore. Jason played some last year. Brandon's never played at this particular level. So there's some newness that having a guy that can come in and has seen these bright lights before and be able to handle that has helped us.
Seems like he shows some leadership out there too.
Well, he's really good at that stuff. Does the intangibles, as I said, that he's brought has been great, because he's seen what it takes. So that's definitely helped us.
Do you have an idea about minutes for Glenn when he plays?
No. in terms of trying to guesstimate
Right.
amount of minutes now. You know, we're still kind of coming to grips with that. You know, obviously we played. I think we had 4 guys play 30 minutes or more last night, and I think there was some times where we didn't execute as well offensively, defensively because of fatigue a little bit. So having an extra 20 to 25 minutes on the perimeter will help us in that.
Okay,
All right.
thanks.
Thanks.